Hello everyone, my name's Helen Prosser and I'm one of the founders here at Brilliant Beginnings, and it really is such a pleasure for me to be here to introduce you to Teresa and Lissa and Tracy, who are all part of our team. Our surrogate managers really do a quite extraordinary job supporting women who are thinking about becoming surrogates, as well as taking them through the preparation stages that sets things up so that once they're matched, then we can find them that perfect set of intended parents or parent and help them align all of their hopes and dreams and expectations with those of the intended parents. And of course, as we all know, surrogacy is such a complicated journey that it isn't just about having the most amazing baby at the end of it. It's about the years of highs and lows that it takes to get there. We started Brilliant Beginnings in 2013, and it's just a joy to see the way that the team has grown to 15. We have a number of intended parents, as well as surrogates, as well as other professionals who not just have lived experience, but have the professional expertise that we have come to hold so dear. So without further ado, let me hand over to the team.
So we had some questions come through about kind of the postnatal period and how does it work logistically about where do IPs stay as a team prepares for delivery, and after birth do they kind of hang around, do they visit their surrogate, and at what point do they decide to go home and what feels right for everyone. So we thought it might be a good idea to just share our experiences really quick, and I'm going to go first. So I've done two journeys that were very different from each other. With my first journey, when I delivered the twins, the parents were in the hospital the entire time and they were staying in their own room. They were allocated a room on the same ward as I was so that they could receive their babies straight away, and they took over care straight away. We all stayed in for the same amount of time, so even though we weren't together the whole time, we were in separate rooms, there were lots of opportunities to visit and kind of hop across. I wasn't hopping anywhere, I had a C-section, but to go across the hall and to see each other and say hello and stuff. And we were all discharged at the same time as well, so we got to leave the hospital at the same time with the babies, and to be able to have that feel like a very kind of natural parting as they went home to their house and I went to mine to go back to my own children. So that worked quite nicely. With my second journey, it was slightly different. It was still a hospital delivery, and I delivered in the early hours of the morning. So the parents were allocated a room to be able to have that bonding time, but baby didn't need to stay in. She was really, really healthy. So they were actually discharged before me by a day. And again, it was fine. We were given that space to be able to kind of check in with each other and have little visits while they were there. They came to say goodbye, and I had the opportunity to have a cuddle with the little girl, and just to be able to talk as well about maybe when we would speak to each other next, or maybe when we might see each other next, and kind of how available we all were in that period afterwards, and what was normal. Did we still expect to be swapping messages every day? And I remember reassuring them it was okay for them to concentrate on their baby and that I would be concentrating on my recovery as well. So they actually left hospital before me, but that was really nice because I knew that they were in their nice little parenting bubble with their baby, and that felt very natural for us. I'm very keen for the parents to be able to take over the care of their babies and to be able to have those first kind of golden hours with them as well. And these were things that we had spoken about beforehand. So since then, I've had lots of messages and we have met up a couple of times as well. I'm very lucky. My parents, my intended parents, understood that having a C-section meant I wasn't as mobile, so they've been very happy to travel to me with baby so that I can have some cuddles, and it's worked out lovely.
My experience was a little bit different in the fact that I had my surrogate baby 2 weeks late. So the intended mother came down about 2 weeks prior to my due date to make sure that she wasn't going to miss anything. I've had my own children really fast, so that was a big thing for me, making sure that they weren't going to miss out on the experience. So she came down, like say 2 weeks before. She stayed locally in a little holiday cottage, and then her husband came down and stayed with her weekends, and she had a mum come down and stay for a few days as well. And then when things happened, both of them were with me. I went in to have the induction first thing in the morning, and then once I was sort of in, things had started to progress, they were actually allowed into the room with me, and I had Ben with me as well. So I actually ended up having her at 5 past midnight. So once I had given birth, I had a vaginal delivery, and that was all fine. They did have a room next door which they were able to go into, because it's quite quiet on labour ward when I had her. So they were able to go next door and have skin to skin, get her dressed, and do the first feed and everything, while I was actually able to have a bath and sort myself out. And then we came back together. We were taken up to the ward upstairs, where they'd actually made one of the individual rooms. They'd put 2 beds in for us, so we were able to have a room together, and we were sort of settled in there together overnight. And then we were able to all get discharged at the same time as well. And then when we left hospital, my intended parents did stay at the holiday cottage for a few more days, or a couple of days afterwards, and we sort of met up, and my children were able to see the baby and understand, sort of meet her and that before they went back home. And then yeah, they traveled back home a couple of days afterwards, which was really nice.
So I have also been a surrogate twice, and really had kind of 2 different experiences again. My first was as a surrogate in America, but I was fortunate enough to have really lovely team and supportive consultant, and a vaginal birth with the twins. And the parents had come to stay by me about a week before the birth. So we got to spend a bit of extra time together before the induction. And then I delivered quite quickly, actually, while they had just run out to go grab dinner, and had been on their way back when the first twin was born. So I was accidentally holding and doing the first skin to skin with the first twin until their dad rushed in and pass her off, and then give the mom the second twin. And so that was quite nice to see it all kind of happen. And then they were able to get a room just right across the hall from me for recovery. And then they'd bring the babies over for feeds, as I'd offered to nurse while we were in the hospital. And then they stayed at a holiday cottage about 10 minutes from me. And we met up about every other day for the first couple of weeks, so I could give them some milk for the girls. And that was kind of a really lovely way to kind of finish off that journey. And then second round, it was a singleton, and what I thought would be a bit easier was much more complicated because of COVID. And we ended up having to kind of negotiate with the hospital, but did end up being able to kind of have both the parents in, as well as my birth partner at the time. And then we all, the parents were right there for the birth, which was lovely. And the mom was able to catch her baby girl, which was absolutely fantastic. And then we were able to kind of recover together. And then once we went up to the postpartum ward, we each got our own room, which was really nice. And then after that, I stayed for about a week down by them and came to visit during the day. And then after about a week, I went back home and did still continue to give milk for another couple of weeks, which was, again, just a really nice way to kind of end the journey after so much.